Okay, welcome to Class Rubrics Part 2. To start off on this particular segment, we're going to figure out how to put in the formulas to figure class averages in each of the individual categories. To do that, we're going to go ahead and type average at the bottom, and then we're going to select the cell next over in that particular category. Here we're just going to simply type the equal sign, type the word average, open parenthesis, select the cells and drag and select the cells that we want to average together, close the parenthesis, and hit the return key. It's going to give us a little error right here because right now it's dividing by 0, which always leads to 0. But once we have numbers in here, that should change. So we're going to go ahead and put a 2 in for this particular category. And if you'll notice over here, our total is updated to 2 and our average is 2. If we put 3 in this category for student B, our average is calculated at 2.5 and the total is 3 for that particular student. Just like with the totals, all we have to do in order to copy this all the way over is to put this in place. You'll notice that this says 2.5 in the cell, but up here it actually says a formula. If I were to type 2.5 in that cell, it would get rid of my formula. It wouldn't automatically calculate anymore. So I'll never want to type in these cells or in these cells. We'll just let them automatically calculate. I'm going to go ahead and drag this across just as I did with just as I did before with the total. And I took it all the way to the total because I'd like to see what the average score, overall score my students received was. Okay, now it's time to create a separate spreadsheet that's going to contain the information for the student. If we cannot share this particular spreadsheet with all of our students because they would see each other's scores. So in order to get around that, we're going to do a little trick where we can share one specific line of information with a student. We're going to, I'll show you how this looks over here on our completed. We're going to pause. If you notice on our teacher sheet here, student A has a 2 and a 2 and a 1.5 on the narrative writing. On the student sheet that we created a line for each of the units that student A was going to participate in. So here is her narrative unit scores, and you'll notice the 2, the 1.5, it's the same, the shared as we have on our screen over here with the 21 points. Personal essay, history report, argument essay, these are all lines for separate units. The way we create another spreadsheet as a teacher for another unit is once we have all of this lined out,
now, one of the reasons why I had the students have every unit in their own rubric scores is so that they could see where their weak areas were, make a plan, set a goal, and then as they work on their goals through the next writing unit, they can see, did I improve in those areas or what areas did I not improve in? So then here for his history report, his next goal would be to work on his lead and make a stronger lead so that the leads could continue to improve as well. The nice thing about this is the kids can see where you rank them. They can know where their weak areas are and what areas they need to focus in better in their next writing.
Just like with the teacher unit, when you create your first student page, you're going to want to set it up exactly the way that you want it so that when we make copies of this page for each of your students, we have to do very minimal on the change or the edits. So you'll want to make sure that you include all of your units. You're going to want to make sure that you include your headings exactly the same as you have them in your teacher sheet. You can name this however you would like. And then again, setting up your totals, setting up your averages. Your totals can actually come with you when we transfer the information over. But the averages for the students, if you'll remember on the teacher sheet, the average that we calculated was the average for the whole class. In this particular case, we're calculating the average just for the individual student in their category. So we're going to have to think about exactly how you would like to do that. So to create a student sheet, we came here, we copied and pasted we copied and pasted the 5th grade writing score. This is the way we wanted it titled. We copied and pasted the different categories that we wanted. We're going to go ahead and put in our units. Etc. And then we're going to go ahead and put an average in. I'm just showing you partially the units that we have. Here we're going to need to, again, bold, center, do whatever the formatting that we would like to do to remembering the students are going to see this sheet, so we wanted to make it as easy as possible for them to identify what they need to identify in their data. We're going to need to conditionally format these categories just as we did before. And again, as a reminder, that is, you highlight the ones. We're going to hold the command key and grab spelling and punctuation as well. We're going to come over here and go to Format, Conditional Formatting, and go through the formatting just like we did in the previous video. Once we've done all of that and we've calculated the average, I'm going to remind you the average is the equal sign, word average, an open parenthesis, selecting the cells that we want averaged together, and then closing off the parenthesis and pressing enter. This is the way we're going to calculate all of this. Now, we're not going to actually put any numbers in these cells up here. Our other spreadsheet is going to put those numbers into this cell.